Well, it's now time for us to have our disruptors conversation here on CNBC Africa's Open Exchange, because we've seen various innovations within the financial services industry, and blockchains and fintechs are growing in importance. Now, joining us for more on the various innovators and disruptors that are shaping the world of finance is Chris Hamilton, who is CEO of BankservAfrica. Now, he joins us on Skype from Abidjan. Chris, good to catch up with you again. Now, we understand that you are attending the SWIFT conference there in Abidjan, and we've heard that there are a number of startups who are also in attendance from across the continent who are shaping the face of finance. So just give us a bit of detail of exactly what the SWIFT conference is about and what BankServ's role is there.
Okay, so SWIFT is the international organization for global payments and securities trading. So it's an enormous international organization. But every year it does a very important conference where it brings together all the payments and securities professionals in Africa to meet in one place and talk about things that can improve the way the African financial system works. That's on in Abidjan right now. Notwithstanding what you might have heard about disturbances in Abidjan, the conference is going ahead. There are 300 people here, and there's a lot of really interesting conversations going on. So it spans the full range of financial activity, from how to build better national payment systems, which is something I'm very passionately interested in, but also how to use them better to provide better services to the people of the African community. And they're always looking for new developments, interesting innovations, new technology, particularly using the mobile phone, of course, as a way of reaching out to the African community and improving services to them.
In terms of those new developments and innovations, we do understand that fintech is growing an increasingly important role in the financial services industry. And the question, I suppose, is, does fintech have a real role to play in the real economy?
Oh, unquestionably. For the first time in history, we have the technology to bridge the gap between those who are fully financially included, who have access to basic financial services, and those who don't. The statistics indicate that by 2020, half of the mobile phones, I should say, in Africa will be smartphones. And what that means in practice is that many, many more people will have a smartphone than will have a bank account. That smartphone provides us with the opportunity to reach out to the community and provide financial services where they couldn't be provided before. To have a bank account, to have the access to credit, to have the access to paying and being paid easily, to have the access to make investments when you've got a little bit of money put aside. So all of those sorts of things become possible, and fintech is the way we're going to solve the problems of delivering those services to people who don't currently, who aren't currently part of the payments and financial system in a way that's cost effective. So fintech is terribly important.
Very exciting projections there you are giving us for the next 3 years, given that 2020 is just 3 years away. But Chris, onto your passion about national payment systems and the importance of the infrastructure, obviously, to kickstart economic activity and keep it going there. Infrastructure is a major challenge on the continent. So what is being said there at the SWIFT conference as ways to deal with this issue of infrastructure?
So what we want to talk about is the observation that we, BankservAfrica, have been making as we walk around in Africa, particularly in our southern African region, and talk to central banks, talk to banking associations, talk to the banks themselves and to telcos. Somewhat surprisingly to me, coming relatively new to Africa, is that the money to do the development that needs to be done is not the problem. The money is there. There is a very significant grant and investment money going into African infrastructure from the World Bank, from the African Development Bank, from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. The funding is there to build the financial infrastructure that the economies of Africa need. The challenge is the expertise and the ability to win a broad agreement on how to do that. So what we want to do, and the conference here in Abidjan is an opportunity, is to begin a conversation amongst all of the central banks, the bankers, the telcos, anybody involved in payments, to understand how we can build that basic bit of economic plumbing and how we can all agree to do it in a way which is cost effective. So there's a really exciting opportunity here, I think, to have a good conversation across the many countries of Africa and all learn from each other. And that's what I'm aiming to do in the next couple of days.
Well, Chris, we're going to have to leave it there. Thanks so much for your time, and enjoy the rest of the time there at the conference. I understand that it will be finishing tomorrow, which is May the 18th. Of course, that was Chris Hamilton, who is CEO of BankservAfrica. That's where we leave it for Open Exchange here.